All right, so before we move on to subsidized housing, now that we've gone over what traditional and real affordable housing is, I think it's worthwhile to discuss ED1 or Executive Directive 1 because it's relevant to the now, whereas a lot of the other affordable housing projects or programs that we discussed in the last module were permanent, and in the sense that they've been there for a long time. They'll probably always be around. The LIHTC projects, low-income housing tax credit, as well as TOC, the transit-oriented communities, density bonus, all of those have been around for a very long time and are probably not going away. A enhanced version of those programs, or rather an add-on to those programs, is something new, which was called Executive Directive 1, ED1. It is it's a program or policy, it's more of a policy that the new mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, implemented. And in a nutshell, what it was designed to do, at least in its inception, was it was made to shorten the time and complexity and just, quite frankly, government red tape in the process where a developer is applying to build one of those affordable projects. So there have been many instances where developers brought plans and intentions to purchase land and develop it for affordable housing to the city and all the relative departments involved, where it's taken years. We at our firm have several clients where the development of their affordable project was a 4-year timeline, which is almost double, if not more, the typical time a development would take. Because when you're going through these affordable projects and you're applying through the city programs like the TOC or the density bonus or LIHTC, whatnot, even HUD programs, there's just a lot of different people who have to look at it and get it approved. So without getting too complex and keeping it pretty digestible here, ED1 was essentially one of the first things that it promised was that fast tracking of approval or at least review of these applications, and then response to the developer in no more than a 45-day period. So that's a significant reduction in time, where it usually was a 6-month or more period just to get the application looked at and getting a disposition on that application. So 45 days, quite an improvement there. A few of our clients have reported back that they made good on that promise, at least. The other big thing, though, is ED1 was supposed to make the development of affordable housing projects not only expedited, but expanded to be the entire city of Los Angeles. Now, unfortunately, that's not the case today. They did a revision pretty quickly, actually pretty early on in ED1, where it was not going to actually be the entirety of Los Angeles where a developer could develop affordable housing. They reduced it to the non-residential parts of the city, which the city of Los Angeles is actually, all that actually means is there's only 27% of the city that can actually apply. 27% of the city of Los Angeles are the areas that are not your traditional single-family residence. And that's what they mean by residential areas. They don't want these buildings coming up in smack dab in the middle of your suburban single-family home style neighborhood. So that was a big disappointment to a lot of developers because, quite frankly, prior to ED1, that was still the case. And so that's why in the last 10 years, you saw massive development of affordable housing in just very specific pockets of Los Angeles, like South LA, some parts of the San Fernando Valley. So it was just really these like specific areas where you saw a lot of acquisition and development in affordable housing for affordable housing projects. And so ED1, a big part of it was opening it up to all of Los Angeles, which excited a lot of investors. And that's why it kind of put a bad taste in a lot of investors' mouths, because they went through all the steps to identify locations, plan it out, all the architecture, going through the application process and getting those applications submitted in the beginning of ED1, only to have the administration say, actually, no, it's not going to be all of Los Angeles. It's just going to be what has been traditional, the 27% that is not single-family residential neighborhoods. So a lot of developers thought that that was a bait and switch technique, which is really disappointing. So as it stands today, ED1 is in the 27% of Los Angeles that is not single-family residential. They are fast-tracking applications to an extent, but in all honesty, it's not the fastest. Affordable housing development from the ground up is not really the fastest way to go about these projects, or to do subsidized housing, which is what we'll cover in the next module. But I felt it was necessary to at least bring up Executive Directive 1, because our office gets inquiries about it times a month at least from different developers. And so I think the community's kind of cooled down on it right now. All the initial excitement of it has kind of cooled down. So we'll move on to what is subsidized housing now.